Hi there folks, it's me, Joey. Yeah, with a lot less videos than I anticipated on making, I apologize for the lack of Akira Kurosawa vlogs. Those will be coming at you faster in the new year. Just busy with holiday stuff, me being lazy, also factors into that. Just crazy stuff. I'm trying this background. Usually with Blockbuster Beach Bum you see it kind of like over here, but it's over here, centered. I got this Avengers poster up, so it's really cool. What else? Of course, this week on Silent Film Saturday, I shall be reviewing Underworld, and I'll be reviewing Joseph von Sternberg films for the next couple of weeks. So that's the, just to keep you guys in the head, give you guys a heads up. Anything else important? Oh yes, the X-Men retrospective video. It's going to be in two parts. It's going to be a two-part video. First part's going to be talking about the X-Men trilogy, meaning X-Men, X2, X-Men United, and X-Men The Last Stand. Second video will be talking about X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men First Class, The Wolverine, and I'll be talking about my thoughts on the franchise as a whole, and X-Men Days of Future Past in that same video. So that's the X-Men retrospective. Today, for the last video of 2013, I wanted to bring you guys my top 10 favorite movies of 2013. 2013's been an interesting year, but one of my biggest disappointments came out this year, Man of Steel. Some really genuine surprises came this year, and yeah, there's not much else I really have to say, except I'm going to first mention my honorable mentions, which are The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, which is the second installment of the Hunger Games franchise. Jennifer Lawrence is, of course, great as usual. This film continues after the events of the first one, where both Peeta and Katniss survived the first Hunger Games. Now they have to keep up their little, romantic facade in order to please the Capitol, which is like the government, and also to please Donald Sutherland, who runs the government. And to me, he steals the show in both of these movies. He's fantastic. You also have a great performance by Philip Seymour Hoffman. Just great supporting, great cast overall, in my opinion, and I think this really takes the Hunger Games franchise a step up and really makes it one of the better movie franchises, in my opinion. And my other honorable mention, and it really pains me not to include this in my top 10, The Wolverine. Now, some of you may think it's just a Wolverine movie, but you know what? I really liked it because we finally got a movie that didn't have X-Men in the title. It was a movie about Wolverine. Not just, about all the other X-Men and Wolverine as the center. It was about Wolverine. And the movie didn't center around the apocalypse or the end of the world. It was a personal problem that happened to Wolverine. And he got entangled with some personal feuds. And I liked it for that. And I'm really hoping that Hugh Jackman and James Mangold team up for another Wolverine movie. Because James Mangold did an excellent job with this movie. And it really is the closest we have ever come to getting a rated R Wolverine film. Okay, with the honorable mentions out of the way, my top 10 favorite movies of 2013. Number 10, Side Effects, the Steven Soderbergh film. There's weird stuff about medication and doctors prescribing that medication. Some of it's experimental drugs, people losing their jobs and contracts, and all sorts of crazy stuff ensues. You have Rooney Mara and Channing Tatum as a young couple, and the twists in this movie are really twisty, to say the least. To me, Jude Law steals the whole show, but it's supported by a great cast, in my opinion, and I really want to revisit it. I watched it with my mother a few months back, and it was fantastic. Alright, so now number 9, Blue Jasmine, starring Cate Blanchett, a woman who's recently lost her entire fortune, is forced to move in with her lower class sister, played by Sally Hawkins, and she tries to, find romance again, but at the same time she's struggling with her own personal demons. Cate Blanchett's amazing in this movie. Oh my god, probably really one of the best performances I've seen this year. She could easily walk away with the Oscar. That might not matter to some of you, but if you have Oscar poll, if you're part of an Oscar pool or something, that might matter. I don't know. And the sad thing is, I know some people who are like Cate Blanchett's character in this movie of Jasmine. and that felt really very real. Number 8 is Frances Ha. Now, technically, this film came, according to IMDb, was in 2012 because of a festival release, but it's a 2013 release according to Criterion, and a lot of its releases, like festival releases and wider releases, have been in 2013, so I'm just counting it. This has a lot of French New Wave like techniques, sort of, but it also has its own unique brand of freshness with the performances. It's about like this girl, Frances, played by Greta Gerwig, after college, and she's struggling, to do with stuff in her life. She wants to be a dancer, but she's having problems with that. She's moving in with different people. Her best friend's getting engaged, and she's not very comfortable with that. Really great. I also like the soundtrack a lot. Greta Gerwig as Frances steals the show. She's fantastic in the movie. I'm glad she got a Golden Globe nomination. Who knows what this could mean for the Oscars? Probably not a lot, but if she gets a nomination, I'd be very happy. I found this to be one of the more joyous films of 2013. I had a lot of fun watching this one, man. And speaking of funny movies, number 7, Anchorman 2: The Legend Continues. I like the first Anchorman. I haven't seen it in quite a while. I watched it actually yesterday with one of my best friends for his birthday, and I can't remember the last time I laughed so hard at a movie. Oh my god. The things that happen, the cameos in this movie are ridiculous. Like, if you thought the cameos in the first one were ridiculous, this one takes it up a notch. It goes to 11, to quote This Is Spinal Tap. And I actually really like the story too. It's about, like, you have Ron Burgundy and his friend, his news team, and basically they're moving on to a 24-hour news network, and they come with the idea, we don't need to tell the people what they need to hear, we tell them what we want them to hear. So they have stuff about, like, cute animals, how awesome America is, sexual stuff, they get arrested for smoking crack on television. All this really crazy stuff happens. It was really funny, and I can't wait to see it again. I'd say check it out, and I'm glad it's making money and getting good reviews. It's a good comedy sequel, to say the least. Number 6, Pacific Rim. Initially, if I didn't revisit number 5, this movie would have been my favorite movie this summer. Pacific Rim was directed by one of my favorite filmmakers, Guillermo del Toro, who I really discovered this year, and he's now one of my favorite filmmakers because of his visual stuff, and some of his storytelling techniques are great. I love his Spanish films like Cronos, Pan's Labyrinth, and Devil's Backbone. Oh man, rewatched Devil's Backbone recently. Excellent movie. But with Pacific Rim, it's a movie where you have giant robots fighting giant monsters. That you heard me right. It's an American release where you have giant robots fighting giant monsters. Now, it's not a film where it's like, oh yeah, you have to take everything seriously. No, there's some goofier moments in the movie, but the movie, to me, never felt like... It's not like Transformers, where Transformers was bad, not just because it was bad, but because it was also offensive to stereotypes and all that. This movie, I don't feel that way. I feel it's not a movie about America saving the world, it's a movie about the world saving the world, to quote Guillermo del Toro. Even though the main Jaeger in the movie is an American Jaeger, you still get no appearances by, like, Jaegers from Australia, China, Russia, some bigger film markets, if you noticed, Russia and China. And this film did particularly well in China, if I'm not mistaken. I would love to see a sequel to this movie. Might not happen, but if it does happen, I'll be first in line to get my tickets. Number 5, Iron Man 3. Now, when I first saw this movie, I was like, okay, it's fine. I hated the Mandarin twist when I first saw it because I wanted to see a big screen adaptation of the Mandarin, not because I was a hardcore fan of the comics, but because I was not familiar with the Mandarin. I wanted to see something, resembling the Mandarin on screen, and from what I'm told, that's not the case. This Mandarin is not like the Mandarin of the comics. However, when you look at the story, it actually works better. How are you going to turn a character that has, is stereotypical and all that into a villain for the 21st century? And they do it, and they handle it very well. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anybody, but everybody and their mother on the internet knows about the Mandarin twist, so I'm not worried about it. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. is great as usual, but I think this is his best performance in the Iron Man, in these Iron Man films so far, including the Avengers. He really has to deal with, his own personal demons and anxieties. His anxieties that he felt after the events of the Avengers. Feeling that he has this large ego, but realizing that he is so insignificant. He is so small compared to everything else. It is so brilliant. Thank you, Shane Black, for writing and directing a great Iron Man movie. And I have to say, this might be the best comic book movie since The Dark Knight. There. I said it. I cannot unsay it. Which leads me to number 4, Prisoners. Starring Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Terrence Howard, Viola Davis, Maria Bello, and many others. This is a film where you have 2 little girls are kidnapped, and Hugh Jackman and Terrence Howard are, they're looking for their daughters, and Jake Gyllenhaal plays a detective trying to find them. It's really twisted, really creepy, really disturbing. Hugh Jackman's best performance to date. It can be a little long sometimes, and there's some things that are slightly predictable, but the thing is, I don't mind if something's predictable as long as you're telling a good story. And I felt the filmmakers told a good story. It has a great ending, and like I said, Hugh Jackman's fantastic. Jake Gyllenhaal is fantastic in this movie as well. I'd say check it out. Number 3, Disney's Frozen. This movie, I'm so glad, is doing incredibly well at the box office, namely because it's realistically the only family film out there right now in the holiday season. It's even competing with things like, The Hobbit. This past weekend, The Hobbit made like $29 million, Frozen made like $28 million, and Frozen came out all the way in November. So far, the film has grossed a little over $500 million, and is doing well. I love the characters. These are strong female personalities in the film, strong female characters. I like some of the songs. The music, the incidental music is really good, and the visuals are impressive, like with the ice stuff, and it's really cool. It's about a sister who has these ice powers. These ice powers are revealed, and she runs away, and the entire kingdom is frozen into eternal winter, and the younger sister must go out and find her. One of my favorite highlights of the film is this side character named Olaf, who is a snowman who wants to experience summer, and he has an entire musical number about summer. I love it. That's a great scene. Onward to number 2, American Hustle. This film's story is It's okay. That's not why I love it. Number 1, the style. The musical soundtrack to this film is very stylish and sexy, and I love it. The cinematography is sexy. The look of it is just really sexy. Something I don't really use a lot. A word I don't really use a lot, especially on Silent Film Saturday, is sexy. But, that's how I felt. And then the acting. This is the thing that steals the whole show, or the ensemble, the cast. Christian Bale is excellent in this movie. I have so much respect for this guy. He constantly gains and loses weight for all these parts. You have Amy Adams in this film, who's also rather good. Jennifer Lawrence, as usual, is excellent. She could probably get another Oscar win even for this movie. Maybe not just because she would be the best supporting actress performance per se, but because she's Jennifer Lawrence. Let's face it. But she's. That's not to take away from how great she is. She is excellent. I feel this is a better performance than her first Oscar win from Silver Linings Playbook. Bradley Cooper, oh my God, he's amazing in this movie. Usually he plays likable characters in my opinion, but he plays an asshole, and I really hated him in this movie. And I love that when an actor does that, where they're able to play a character that I genuinely hate, when they usually play characters that I like. And then Jeremy Renner. If you're not a Jeremy Renner fan, check this out. He's really good too as this politician, Carmine Polito. Now, any other elements of the movie I should really mention? Well, David O. Russell is on a really good trajectory. Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook, and American Hustle. I didn't see The Fighter yet, but that got a lot of critical praise. Won Christian Bale an Oscar. Silver Linings Playbook won Jennifer Lawrence an Oscar. This movie's bound to win a lot of Oscars, and this, along with 12 Years a Slave, are the two Best Picture really Best Picture contenders. Now, before I get to number one, I just want to say that there's a lot of films in 2013 I have not seen yet. For instance, 12 Years a Slave or The Wolf of Wall Street. So I will have to review those films another time. Number one is a film you should only see on the big screen, Gravity, starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. The story goes like this. You have George Clooney, who's an astronaut who's had perfect safety record. However, an accident happens involving space debris. Things go off course, and basically the movie is about Sandra Bullock and George Clooney trying to get to a spaceship pod to get back to Earth. It's a simple story, but there are a lot of themes and elements. You know, the theme of survival, the theme of the people, despite, wanting to die, just wanting to continue to move forward. It's a contradictory idea. The visual effects in this movie just blow your mind. I mean, wow. When I watched this film 3 times on the big screen, all in 3D and all in the same week, and it kind of overwhelms you. This movie, at sorry. Forget about that. But it's overwhelming to see Sandra Bullock, out there in space, lost, and it's a great experience. It's more than any other movie on this list warrants a big screen viewing. What are your favorite films of 2013? What are your biggest disappointments of 2013? What is the weakest film of 2013? Post in the comments below. And I'll see you guys later this week for Silent Film Saturday. Hope you all have a spectacular new year. And here's to more Silent Film Saturday in 2014.